I play flugelhorn and bass guitar. I'm from Wales, so there's a big Collier band scene there, and I started off in brass bands, then went through the orchestral route, and along the way I started off on cornet, but then went to trumpet, and flugelhorn was something that I really much more enjoyed playing.
It's a really nice, rich sound, isn't it?
Yeah.
For like such a, it's not like a horn, is it?
It fills a room as well, doesn't it?
It's not as versatile as a trumpet. You can't like peel notes as easy. You can't play as high. You can't pinch notes. You can't do anything like that as well as you can on a trumpet. But with flugel, it's got this angelic quality to the sound, quite transcendent. It kind of fills the gaps in the band, rather than a trumpet being quite dominant sounding tonally. So a flugelhorn kind of fills up this really nice frequency area. So it almost becomes a pad in itself, even though it's just one note.
Now, what kind do you have? You know, is it?
Yeah, it's a Courtois, the French company. I think they made just kind of marching band, French marching band instruments. I don't know whether they're still made in France, but I used to play Vincent Bach, and I couldn't find one that was a warm enough sound. The bell and bores are, even though they're still quite big, the Vincent Bach. This Courtois is enormous. It's got the same size bell as one of the trombones, so it's huge sounding.
How do you handle like miking that? Yeah, that sound people love.
The best thing is an SM57 by sure.
Really? Just the straight up.
Yeah.
Same vocal mic. He just pushes it out, plays on the same vocal mics. It's pretty simple, really.
The SM57 just kind of, if there's not many frequencies that you want to get rid of from a flugelhorn, but it just kind of gets rid of some of the murky area, and down at the kind of 300 mark, and it's kind of, it sounds great. Just an SM57. I played in studios using more expensive mics. It still doesn't sound as, you get too much room sound and like valve noise and stuff like that, where the SM57 just gives you the sound.
So it's not going to pick up, maybe not as sensitive as some of those like expensive mics, but that means it's not picking up stuff you don't want.
Yeah, and it sounds really honest, and there's no engineer that is going to use a flugel without reverb on it. It needs it. If you're playing in a church, obviously stick some lovely mics in there, but I think you just want the true sound that's coming out the front. I think people worry too much about, oh, I've got to get this really expensive mic on it, whereas the SM57 does always work on trumpet and flugel at least.